Hello, everybody. Welcome to Murf's webinar. We're going to wait for 2 minutes for people to join in. I'll appreciate your patience here. I guess it's 10 to Mike. So let's start the webinar today. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Murf's webinar. My name is Shreya and I'm part of the voice partnership team here at Murf. A little bit about Murf. Murf is a text-to-speech platform that utilizes the power of AI to create natural sounding speeches. With its advanced technology and user-friendly interface, Murf is changing the way we interact with technology. And in this webinar, we'll share the latest and the greatest in artificial intelligence with respect to L&D with you. And for this, we have a special guest today, Mike Taylor, who is an experienced e-learning consultant with 20 plus years of experience in this field. He's passionate about helping organizations create effective e-learning modules and has worked with a variety of clients, including Fortune 500. In this webinar, Mike will share his expertise and insights on how can AI transform the learning and development industry. Over to you, Mike, to start.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the introduction and welcome everybody. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. You know, I'm excited to be here to talk about the potential of AI tools, specifically in the context of L&D. You know, I think we're in an era now where we can really explore new and innovative ways to enhance the learning experience for individuals and all of our organizations as well. Unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, you've probably heard a lot about AI tools. Recently, there's been a big explosion, and a lot of these tools have demonstrated an ability to help us improve our efficiency and effectiveness, specifically, like I said, when it comes to the L&D world. So it's a really exciting time for AI and L&D and really any field for that matter. The AI tools that are coming out now have got these really amazing human-like capabilities, specifically around generating content, but you know, the whole idea of natural language processing and pattern recognition and all of the things, the potential that comes with that. And you know, the jury's still out. It remains to be seen, you know, what kind of progress these AI tools are going to make. You know, will they be as smart as a human someday? That's maybe scary for some, exciting for others, but you know, they've already surpassed some human abilities in some areas, such as, you know, playing chess or identifying patterns, some really interesting applications in medical imaging. And so we could probably spend days talking about all of those things, but today in our time together, I just want to kind of explore some of the AI tools that we can use in L&D and apply some of that potential to the work that we do. And before we dive in, I'd love to kind of take a moment here and check in with what your experience has been with AI tools. Have you played with any of those? What have you found? You can drop those in chat. And I think we may also have a poll question. So just curious to take a pulse check here and see where you all are, and then we'll jump in after that. So just taking a peek at the chat window. Okay, there's our poll. So let's, if you would respond to that. Always feel like we need some Jeopardy game show background music for these polls to
It's to make it more engaging, I guess people will.
Full effect, right?
Yes. Yeah. Please, people, please choose an answer. What do you feel?
So we'll give everybody maybe 10 more, 15 more seconds to get your responses in there, and then we'll see the results. I'm super curious to see where everybody is. All right. Could we see what those results look like?
So wait a few seconds for the results to open.
I'm not allowed to vote, but I have a desperate urge. I want to vote. I know exactly where I fall on this scale.
Not the poll answer is not yet, considering AI tools for L&D, 45% people.
All right, excellent. So that's good. That's perfect for the folks to be here, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So I think we've got the right audience in here, and that's lovely. So if you haven't played with any of these tools yet, there is a really nice article here. And again, I'm going to share the slides at the end. I'm going to share you my notes and links and all that sort of stuff. So don't feel like you have to furiously scribble stuff down, because we're going to give you everything. But there's a really nice article I read recently, and somebody was experimenting to kind of see, so what can AI do? And so he gave himself a timer of 30 minutes. And on the right, you can see the list of all the things that he was able to generate in half an hour. So it had a little bit of a marketing spin, but I think there's a lot of things relevant to our L&D world. So research, a positioning document, an email campaign, which I love for L&D, by the way, created a website, a logo, hero shot graphic, scripted and created a video. I'll share with you at the end somebody who's been doing some really cool work in that space. There was also a study done by MIT recently related to ChatGPT, that they found people who were using AI tools worked better and faster. So they found they were 40% more efficient. So for those of you who may have not quite kicked the tires on this stuff yet, that might kind of give you a little bit of a insight to sort of what has people excited. One thing I think that sort of gets lost in this a little bit, I have the intuition that a lot of people think, oh, ChatGPT was sort of the birth of a lot of this AI stuff. And really, in fact, the AI for content generation has been around for a while, and it's already had some pretty important impact. So one area, obviously, that we're seeing these days is around content creation. So back in 2007, there was an early example of this. There was a company called Statsheet that used sports data to automatically write articles about the games without any human intervention. So the ideas of content generation using AI have been around for over a decade. I use Grammarly all the time. So it's kind of used as a combination of rule-based systems and machine language and natural language processing to identify and correct writing. Grammarly's been around since 2009. Microsoft Office even has been using AI in a variety of ways to improve productivity and streamline workflows since 2018. And then, of course, unless you've been under a rock or living in a cave somewhere, you've probably heard lots and lots of things about ChatGPT, which was just a recently updated tool that I think now has become the fastest growing website in the history of the internet. So it's been around for a while. Recent developments, I think, have got it a lot more attention. And AI can do a lot of things. Here are sort of some of the main types of things that generative AI can help us with. And I think all of these are really relevant to what we do in L&D. So domain expertise, generate information about a topic. ChatGPT's power is that conversational interface, which makes it much more accessible and available to, I think, a wider audience. You can see a variety of content types that AI can help us generate and create. So audio, video, images, obviously writing. I mentioned the study about improving efficiency, music diagrams. So I think you can see the pretty direct correlation to all of those capabilities and the work that we do in L&D. So what I'd like to do is kind of take a typical learning type project. So maybe writing the script, getting some narration, putting some visuals to that, and look at how some AI tools can sort of enhance and improve the process of a typical learning content type of project. So first off, writing, I'm a big believer. I think writing is a superpower. So anything I can do to improve my writing, I'm very welcome. Any kind of contributions in that category. The AI tools are of particular help when you get looking at summarizing the research that goes into that writing. So there's this vast amount of information that we typically filter through and sift through to identify what are the relevant parts. So it's not specifically a writing task, but the research and summarization part of writing, AI can be a huge help with that. We mentioned tools like Grammarly to help with writing errors and suggesting alternative phrasing. Those are also great. And then by leveraging AI in this way, learning content can be created more efficiently, I think accurately, with greater impact. And so the first AI tool I want to show you is in relation to writing. The first one's called copy.ai. It's an AI-powered copywriting tools. And it's really useful for anyone who needs to create large amounts of text on a regular basis, because it can significantly reduce the time and effort it takes us to write more effective content. So really, really good one to try. I'm going to show a little short video clip to give an overview of that, and then we'll kind of keep going through the process. So we're going to have some sound here on the video in the next slide, and hopefully our technology will cooperate and sound will come through. So let's take a quick look at Copy AI.
We all know how much time it can take to create content. And when you're juggling between writing for your blog, social media, landing pages, ads, emails, videos, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why we built Copy.ai. With Copy.ai, you can quickly generate product descriptions, website copy, social media posts, and so much more. Here's how it works. Name your project so you can save and organize what you create. Pick the tool for the content you need to generate. Describe your idea or product in the description box. Click the green Create button and wait for your results to show. Browse the results and make any edits you need. Finally, save your favorite results to your project. With over 70 tools, Copy.ai can help you make just about any content you need. So, what are you waiting for? Unlock your creativity and start saving yourself hours of work. Try out Copy.ai for 7 days, totally free.
One thing that I will add to this, and it's sort of a caveat for all of these tools, I have seen that sort of saving of time in the magnitude of hours of time saved personally. But I want to sort of put up the warning of I would never take a prompt and the results from one of these writing tools and just sort of copy and paste directly. I think they're really great at phrasing and getting the right sequencing and the thinking involved, but there's still, to my mind, there's still got to be that human touch. And I'm going to go in and tweak that to match my style and my purpose. But it gives me a big head start, and it's, it's give me 80% of the way super, super fast. And then I can spend my time tweaking and fine tuning. So I just wanted to kind of put that caveat on all of these tools, actually. So we could use the AI tool to help with our writing, research and writing. which leads us to sort of the second step of this learning process. And that's taking that text and turning it into narration. So with the help of AI, it's now possible to take that written text and turn it into high quality audio narration. So this is not the old days, the robotic sounding things that we're all probably familiar with. And so this text-to-speech technology is using machine learning and algorithms to synthesize that speech. And some of these are really, really impressive and getting better every day to become sort of lifelike speech with, different accents, whether it's language or, it's British versus American English, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, great for e-learning, for videos, for other similar types of projects. And it's a huge time saver, as well as saving the money for hiring voice talent, so forth and so on. So obviously, kind of the reason that we're all here today, the Murf folks have kindly brought us all together. I still remember the day that I discovered Murf, reading one morning with my morning coffee, and I had this big revelation, and I said to myself, I'll never record audio narration ever again. So it was very clear when I saw the quality of what's possible, and I have not recorded audio since that point. So I kept my word to myself, so to speak. So let's take a quick look. We'll get an overview of Murf, and then we'll keep going from there. So let's check out Murf.
Hey there. Have you heard of Murf?
Murf.
Like Murphy's Law, Murf?
Him?
No, not him. Murf's an AI studio that turns text into natural sounding voiceovers in minutes.
Really?
Natural sounding? Yeah, right.
Is that possible?
What if I told you I'm a voice created on Murf too?
No way.
Dude, you're not a real person?
Impressive.
Want to try Murf for yourself?
Okay, first, upload text and pick a voice.
120 voice options. Let's try one.
Experience luxury like no other.
But what if I need a change in style?
Change it. Simple.
Experience luxury like no other.
What's smart pronunciation?
Mobile was French Louisiana's first capital.
He got it right.
Ouch. Oops. That tastes so good.
And it sounds so real.
Next, generate audio.
And download?
That was easy.
So you're telling me I can turn my entire course into audio and edit it whenever I want?
Absolutely. Liking it?
Loving it. I can add videos and music right here.
Check this out. It lets us convert our recordings
Into professional sounding voiceovers.
We're sorted.
Can I tell them about the best part?
Sure.
They've even got a free trial. Go check it out.
It's seriously
Amazing.
Take our word for it.
Murf AI, where your words find a voice.
I still think this is super cool. And if anybody's ever, done projects that involve voice narration, maybe contracting out the recording, the inevitable pickups that come, either, your subject matter experts change something or there's a mispronunciation. Tools like this are really, and I don't say this lightly, but they're really game changers for us in a lot of different ways. I'm curious, if you leave a message in the chat about if you've tried any of these yet, or if seeing this type of possibility maybe has you excited to try it out sometime soon. But really, as I said earlier, I'm never going to record voice narration ever again. I know I certainly hate to hear my own voice anyway. And, I think in all this stuff, another point to sort of raise is there may be still a place for humans to exist in this, but I think we're spend our time on more high value things and let the AI increasingly sort of take over some of these types of areas. So it's pretty exciting. And this one, the last one, the last section here of our sort of sample learning project is, I think, the one that may be starting to catch up at a little more accelerated pace. So that's the visual design aspect. And what some of these AI design tools can do is they look at your content. If you've seen PowerPoint and the designer tool that's in PowerPoint, that's kind of I would say an early on iteration of that's continually getting better. But what they do is they look at the content you have, and it will suggest layouts and images and maybe other design elements to sort of create a visually appealing, effective slide design. So if you've seen PowerPoint Designer, that's an idea. This particular tool that I'd like to share with you today is another option that's been around. I think it's been around a couple of years now. There are more, but so Beautiful AI is a nice web-based tool that uses AI-powered design to create, visually appealing presentations, and it does it fairly quickly. It's almost hard to sort of make something that doesn't look pretty good. They've recently added some AI capabilities. So this is another one that is worth trying out if you haven't done that yet. So let's take a quick peek at Beautiful AI and some of what it can do. No, that was a super short, quick. I think they glossed over quite a bit in that video. So those slides they showed were completely generated by that initial text prompt. Beautiful AI actually also has a PowerPoint add-in, which is really slick. It's free, I believe, I'm pretty sure. And so if you ever struggle with visual layouts, looking for ways to particularly to convert bullet points into something more visual, check out Beautiful AI. And if you work in PowerPoint, which I do a lot, I'm a big PowerPoint fan, they've got a free plugin that will help you with that, and a pretty nice library of design things. It just gets you beyond that challenge of hey, I've got this blank page or a blank screen, which is intimidating for folks. And so those are sort of three examples. There's, gosh, it feels like millions of AI tools are coming out every day. I think I read something the other day. There's, on the order of 1,000 new AI tools a month. I'm not sure if that number is accurate, but it certainly feels that way. And so I'd like to kind of pause here, see if there's any questions. If I've missed anything, Shreya or anybody, have I missed any comments or questions so far? It looks like we've got a poll here while we check in with everybody.
Guys, we have a poll once more.
Shreya, have I missed any questions or comments in the Q&A?
Check. It's being mostly answered by Shazan.
Okay.
Yes.
I did see, I think Ted mentioned something earlier about the 30 minutes, and obviously he'd already had some practice to be able to do that much in 30 minutes. It probably wasn't his first go. So that was absolutely a valid point.
So guys, please hit the poll. Do you believe that AI will replace traditional? Do you believe that AI will replace the traditional training modules in the future? Please answer the poll. We'll give it 1 minute for that.
super curious to hear and see the results of this one as well. So always interested to see where everyone is. And I still want to vote. I know where I'm at.
Shazad, if we have enough responses, can we have an answer to this one?
Survey says.
Oh, I'm excited. Ted is also replying.
Yeah. Ted, I can sort of say from my personal work with it, a lot of the value that I've seen so far, and it's still early days, admittedly, is, I know I've got an idea of something I want to do, but drilling to the details faster, in a way, ChatGPT is a good example with the conversational interface. It helps me fine-tune my thinking, and it's almost like a thinking partner in some ways. So I think, what we're getting out of is the sort of, as you say, sort of drudgery work of, actually clicking, doing stuff. Well, if I can get the thinking nailed down up front and let AI generate a lot of stuff that I don't have to just create from scratch, and I can go through and fine tune. I think that's one of the big benefits I've seen already. So this looks like we got the results here. 38% said yes completely. Oh, sorry, 38% is to a large extent, which is I think where I fall.
Yeah.
Completely is 10%. And I think there's always going to be, this is one important distinction too that I think is merited here, is, this is largely content focused. And really in our line of work, the instructional approaches and strategies you take is really critical. So I think that's where a human element, and maybe Ted, that's something that I would, if I'm freeing up time, I would spend more time on that instructional aspect, because we could have really great, amazing, beautiful content, but if the instructional strategies that go with that, aren't what they should be, we're never going to reach our potential. So I think that's probably how I would answer that question. One other thing here, and then we'll get to another poll. I don't know if you've seen this, but I think this is Microsoft is coming out with something called Copilot, which I think is a glimpse of the near future of where AI tools are kind of go in terms of productivity and collaboration, really for everyone, regardless, of what kind of work you do. So let's take a quick peek at this one, and then we'll come back and have some more conversation.
Introducing Microsoft 365 Copilot, your Copilot for work. Copilot combines the power of large language models with your data in the Microsoft Graph and the Microsoft 365 apps to turn your words into the most powerful productivity tool on the planet.
Is coming to life in the products millions of people use and rely on every day. Let's see how Copilot can use your customer notes in OneNote as well as another internal document. Copilot quickly creates a first draft. You can turn your Word document into a PowerPoint presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's jump into Copilot in Excel. You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need. Triage your inbox, highlighting the most important emails to prioritize. You can draft a reply using data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you.
The real magic of Copilot happens during a live meeting. You can ask Copilot to summarize what's happened so far. You can see who said what points were made. You can follow a meeting and catch up to see what you missed, even if you can't attend.
I want to show you an entirely new standalone experience. Business Chat works across all your emails, files, meetings, chats, documents, calendar, and more to turn all your data into knowledge.
Now let's imagine you're working on your business strategy. You ask Copilot to pull up quarterly projections and identify related risks. Copilot gives you key data points and flags potential issues.
We're deeply committed to listening, learning, and adapting with speed to help create a brighter future of work for everyone with AI.
So to me, in some ways, yes, there's a lot of excitement about these really advanced, amazing AI tools, but there's also millions and millions of people who live and breathe inside of Office or the Google version of Office. And I think that video sort of gives a good brief look at how things will be integrated, and maybe people other than us who are super interested in it, which is why we're here today, like things like that are I think really pretty amazing potential for everybody, regardless of the type of work. And I see we had a question about, are training developers a thing of the past? And I think it gets back to Ted's question. And I think training developers are still going to be a thing. And I think what we do is going to change, and the aspects of that we focus on are going to shift. Now, exactly what that shift looks like, I'm not sure yet, but I don't think we're going away. I don't think we're going to be replaced just quite yet. So did we have a poll for this one, or did we already do this poll? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Guys.
So for this one, how do you think AI will transform the future of L&D? Where do you sort of fall on that spectrum? And then once you get an answer to that, I'm also curious if there's any of those particular ones that we looked at today, if you're interested in trying any one of those first, and maybe what appeals to you about that, so we could get sort of 2 channels of feedback here with the poll and maybe a chat message. And it looks like the chat is open here, so it looks like everybody can see everybody else in message. So thank you for updating that.
Shazad, if we have enough answers, can we have the results for this poll as well?
And while we're pulling up the responses here, Peter has a great question of they're coming and changing so quickly. How do you sort of keep an eye on that? And I'm gonna talk about that here in just a second, Peter. That's a great question. So hold that thought. Yeah, and that's also a valid concern here. Like, it's not all, flowers and roses and happy things. Like, there are some serious considerations on the risk side as well, which, we won't get into today, but it's not just, accepted on the surface. There's other considerations, security and that sort of thing, that will have to be, considered as we go forward. Looks like we have our results there. So 28% of that says we'll be enable more personalized adaptive learning experiences, which I agree with. I also agree with the being able to do more efficient, effective learning at scale. So nice set of responses there. Yeah, I want to try them all. I want to try them all too. I could spend probably 24 hours a day just trying new things, and because there's so many. So I can appreciate that comment. So back to the question about how do I keep up with this stuff? This stuff is happening so fast, and new tools are coming every day. A couple people who I have found personally really valuable, who are doing some really cool things that I think everybody here can benefit from. So Philippa Hardman is in the UK. She has a newsletter. She has some courses. If you only follow one person, she's a really good person. She's been doing some really good stuff and publishing about it, specifically using AI for that instructional aspect that I was talking about. So for example, she's got some really interesting articles around learning objectives, and she walks through some chat GPT prompts of how she has sort of fine-tuned those. And so I think if you marry, her thinking and her use of AI tools in that respect with the tools that we've saw today and others, and you merge those two things together, I think that's really where we can find some pretty valuable, powerful knowledge that we can apply to our work, no matter where you work. Another person who's done this, specifically in the context of video scripts and video production, Joss Cavalier has a YouTube channel that's worth subscribing to, where he's sharing, what works and what doesn't work. It's been really interesting to follow around. Again, it's not necessarily a particular tool, although he does have some of those. It's thinking this support AI for L&D work. So he has some speaking and webinars as well. So document that she shares that's also good. So there are two really good sources there. And then I think I saw this in the chat earlier. If you're concerned about losing your job, I don't think the robots are going to take over for us. It's not going to be the AI that steals your job. It's going to be somebody who's using AI smartly who might take your job. So that's leads us to our poll question that you can see here. If you want to take a moment to answer that. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us, do you see AI as a threat to jobs? Yes or no?
Yeah, and Amy, thanks for sharing that. Philippa Hardman has a TED Talk that's coming up on May 3rd, which you can register for. So thanks for sharing that, Amy. That should be a good one. Yeah, Peter, that might be true. The preferences of face to face. I still think if we can apply AI to the instructional design aspect, and sort of combine it with the content creation, I think there's still a place for that to help us all, whether you're face to face or digital. Yeah, Lokesh, I hope AI can never match human capabilities, because then I might answer this poll question a little bit differently about the threat of AI. So I hope you're right, and I think you're right, but my crystal ball is not working, so I don't have that answer. Do we have enough responses for results here? So while we're waiting for those results here, I told you I'd give you a copy of the slides, my contact information, links, and references. You can access those through that bit.ly link, or if you want to use the QR code, you can use that as well. Sergey, there actually, Office does that. If you add an image to PowerPoint, it will suggest some tools. So I have to think that there are other ones that are probably purpose built for that. I don't know off the top of my head, but that's a really great question. And if you didn't see, the poll results are in the chat there. So fairly evenly divided we're leaning a little bit to the no, they're not going to replace us just yet side. So that's all I had to present to you guys. I'm open to questions. Yeah, Mark, copy of the presentation. You can grab it from this link or use the QR code. I'm not sure, Shreya, will you guys, do any follow-up emails? You could share that as well, or anything like that.
Yes, we will be sharing, and this webinar is being recorded. So if you have missed something, you can definitely watch it again.
So, thanks for coming and spending some time with it. I'll hang out here a few more minutes in case anybody has any other questions. Like I said, give you my contact information. I always think of my best questions are, right after I log off. So feel free to, send me a note, or you can reach me. I'm pretty easy to find. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us for a little bit today.
And I just want to say thank you so much, Mike, for doing this. And it was a wonderful webinar. And I want to say a special thank to Sheza for doing all the tech work and helping us around with questionnaire and polls and everything around it. Thank you so much for doing this, Mike and Sheza. If you have any questions for Mike, just drop it in the chat section. We'll be happy to answer that.
I'm just looking at some of the question and answer things. Somebody asked if there's a site where you can find AI tools listed, and in the supporting document that is on the slide now, there is a couple of resources that are sort of like catalogs of AI tools. And so if you grab the handout that goes with the slides, you'll find that in there as well. And I'm just kind of browsing through some of the other Q&A.
I guess we don't have any more questions as such for this. So we can wrap it up. We have already passed it 10:43. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for coming on this webinar. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.